Guys, do not pull for Cerydra, however you say her name. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce her name because that's how irrelevant she feels to me. Guys, I never thought, if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you know that I am a generational, Bronya hater. I hate Bronya with every fiber of my being, but I think someone might have just taken that position. Let's hop into it now, going over all the pros and cons, and then I'll get into all of my personal grievances at the end of the video. So with that being said, guys, let's hop into the buff aspects first, starting off with the pros of the buffs, guys, because she does give quite a bit of buffs, right? Or she gives a decent amount of buffs, I guess you could say, right? So first things first, guys, she gives 72% increase to your skills crit damage. Absolutely amazing. Number two, guys, she gives a 10% res pin as well. This is also coming from the skill, I believe, and this is going to be targeting basically whoever has the peerage buff on them, which is the enhanced form of the military merit. Next, guys, plus 20 speed for absolutely free. Your teammates will be a bit faster, and then you're getting a huge attack percent buff as well. So those are all really good things, surely, right? But let's talk about the cons of these buffs, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows, guys. First of all, the crit damage only applies to your skill. So if you had a character that scaled off of basic attacks, will not work there, basically irrelevant. If you have a character that scales off of using ultimates, will not work there, practically irrelevant. Number two, guys, only applies to one skill per proc. Yes, if you take a look over here at her ability, because I actually did not realize this until rereading her ability again, is basically you're only getting the 72% increase in skill damage and the 10% to res pin whenever your character has peerage. Now, how do you get peerage, you might ask? That's after you reach 6 charge points, meaning essentially you're only getting that skill damage up for your only 2 skills, right? 2 skills, or I guess if you're in an Axis case, 4 skills, right? But for the most part, most of your characters, the skill and then the free skill you're getting from this, you're going to be getting the 72% crit damage. Now, you have to keep in mind, you do consume all 6 of these charge stacks after using that additional skill attack. You only get this crit damage increase from the 2 skills you're using, and then on the top of that, the all-type res pin, 10%, which is kind of low as well, is what we kind of touch on right here, guys. That low ass res pin 10%. Come on, even Silverwolf is doing more than that. Fuck me, guys. Goddamn, come on. Give her a little bit something more to work with here. This is only basically applying to that one proc as well, unless you mix in an ultimate in between. So this seems absolutely abysmal as well. And we'll talk more about the teams and where I think she works out a little bit later in the video, because I don't think she's necessarily the worst support in the game. I don't think she's that good, but there are definitely teams that she can be placed on. Won't say work on, placed on. Next, guys, attack and speed is the only constant, and if you want to say it's constant, then sure, like, as long as you have the buff up on your ally is going to be getting an increased attack up to 24% of whatever Cerydra's attack is, so that's good there. And then they're also going to be getting 20 skill as well for military merit allies, so this is going to be lasting for 3 turns, so practically 20 speed buff the whole time as well on them, which is honestly pretty decent, right? Not the best thing in the world, but those are all the cons with the buffs you're getting. But now let's talk about the builds and investment, because we're getting into the overall gameplay a little bit later into the video, because I kind of want to go through the rest of this here, because it'll kind of amount and show you what I'm talking about in the overall gameplay. So it'll all make sense when we get there. Surely, right? But hopping into the pros of the builds and investment, guys, she has a ton of free personal crit damage she's giving to herself for absolutely free, as long as her attack is built up. And you want to be building her attack anyways, because a portion of her attack is going automatically into your ally's attack buff, right? But this is going to be increasing her own crit damage by 18% up to a max of 360 for every 100 attack that exceeds 2,000. So as long as you have Cerydra at 4,000 attack here, you're going to be getting this 360 crit damage for absolutely free. Now, with this as well, guys, a 100% free crit rate. So this is given to her completely for free. That means you don't have to build into this. She really needs a lot of attack and a lot of speed in the build, because if she's not fast, you're not using her skill move often. If she's not using her skill move often, that means you're going to be more relying on your DPS to get up in the action and use their skill more often. So you do want her to be extremely fast, so she's able to use her skill more often, which gives you more charge points, which will give you more double skill move usages, right? And on top as well, attack, obviously, at least 4,000 attack attack, so you're able to obviously get, you know, this free crit damage at 360%, and then giving your allies the buff as well. Now, let's hop into the other two here, guys. Needs E1 for more team viability, and what I mean by this is her E1 is basically giving, ignoring defense. Like, this is going to be absolutely massive. Her 10% effect res feels really, really lackluster, and honestly, you don't give any damage bonus to anything else either. So this makes her a lot more usable, especially on teams that maybe don't necessarily just use skill moves for their main source of damage, and on top of this as well, this is an automatic 16% defense ignore even when she doesn't have Peerage activated. That means you don't need 6 points to get that, right? But when you do have Peerage, you're also getting an additional 20% here, so an extra 36% defense shred on top of the 10% resistant penetration you're getting. This is going to be really, really massive. I think this makes her work on so many more teams and on so many different more levels. That even expands to E2 as well, guys. The character with military merit gets an extra 40% damage, while the teammate on the field, Cerydra's damage gets increased by 160. This really makes her a real sub DPS in my opinion. Not to say her sub DPS damage is bad. We'll touch on that in the next section here in the video. But on top of this, well, guys, you're also going to be giving your ally 2 extra energy as well, which can be quite massive depending on who the ally is, right? Next, really needs S1 to be more SP positive plus extra damage percentage, right? Like I said here, guys, E2 is really giving that person on the field, your ally on the field is getting the buff, an extra 40% damage percentage, which is nice. But E1 is practically going to be doing the same thing here because, well, it only applies to the skill damage, so L there. But really, guys, massive attack buff, like 64% increase. Fucking huge there. Next, guys, after using her ultimate, you'll be recovering 1 skill point, so that gives her SP efficiency back. Also, Sunday's light cone can work here as well, so you can replace this light cone for Sunday's light cone. After using their skill on one ally character, the skill damage increase is going to be increased by 54% for 3 turns, so you do get an overall skill damage increase. If I were to say which one is better, it's really hard to say because, honestly, I would probably say that it's hard because this is 54% damage increase, like, but it's only applying the skill, so it depends on the team you have her on, right? I think overall, in a general sense, E1's better, but S1 can also work decently well on whoever you have her on as well. I do think she has free play options for light cone, so probably would just go for the E1, right? But anyways, yeah, guys, she really needs those 2 things, so you need more vertical investment in her to really pop off, in my opinion, especially on alternative teams. Hopping into her sub DPS damage capabilities now, additional damage in every attack. So basically, every single time you attack with whoever has a military merit on them, she does damage as well to them. Fucking massive, right? And on top of this, 100% free crit rate, so you know you're critting every single time. And then also, if you have teammates on the team that are giving full team-wide buffs or putting debuffs on the enemy, this is obviously going to increase her damage even more. She already has a pretty high attack, so her sub DPS damage is not going to be anything to scoff at, really. Not to say it's the highest thing in the world, because I think E2 is going to enhance that to the fucking moon and make it a lot better, but overall, still really good. Ult is full AoE damage. Yeah, she uses her ultimate, she gets 2 charge points back, and then she's doing full AoE damage to the enemies. Next, guys, starts with a lot of attack and crit damage for free, as we mentioned in the previous section there. But on to the cons now, guys. She needs a lot of sources of debuff for good damage output. She gives herself so much crit rate, crit damage, and you're already building her into attack already. So you really do want, like, someone like Silverwolf on the team. You want someone like Payla on the team. You want someone like Tribby on the team, right? That's giving really good debuffs to the enemy, so you make sure you're maximizing on this damage, because, yes, I think damage percent bonus buffs can help her out because she doesn't really give herself a bunch of that. But outside of that, guys, you're really looking for more of those more niche debuffs, because while, yes, she does give a 10% res penetration, that's not really that much in the grand scheme of things. So having more of those debuffs is going to be really good for her. Now, on to the next thing here, guys. Can fluctuate based off of how many attacks your main DPS does. So if your main DPS is not attacking frequently enough, she's not getting as many of these additional attacks out, because it's scaled off of how many times you use an attack. So obviously, the more frequently you can attack, the more you're going to be getting this. Like an Axe, for example, right? You get, you know, at least 2 procs of this every single time you use the skill, barring that you're getting a guaranteed extra skill usage with the debuffs you have on the enemy. Right now, on to team. Team, an Axe of Finesse. Saber can also work here as well, I think, with getting her charge attacks back up. I think she could be another viable option to run here as well. Do want to keep that in mind. And I do think there's other options, like I think Zila could work. I think Archer could work. I think Dragon Danny could work. We're going to get into more of those issues in the overall gameplay section, but these are the 2 main progenitors, or the main benefactors of her right now. But anyways, guys, on to the next point. Extreme hypercarry. So I'm talking DPS, 3 supports. That is where she sits the best in my opinion. Next up here, guys, high SP use and high multi-skill use characters. So with an Axa, right, it's his skill, his own free skill, and then you use her buff, which gives him an additional free skill, and then his own free skill again. So 4 skills there. High SP, someone like Dragon Danny, or someone that leaves the field, someone like Finusi, right, where they can't really take buffs because your other allies are gone, but her buff lasts while he's in his state, so you're getting additional skill usages multiple times, maybe 2 times, whenever he's in that state, right? On to the cons, though. Without S1 needs an SP carry, because she runs through fucking SP. Basically, you have to use her skill move every single time, and she has no way to regen her own SP in her kit, so down bad. Honestly, what the fuck were they thinking? If they gave Hysilens an SP generation in their kit, they probably should have given her something like that too, because honestly, we'll talk about it in a second here. Without E1 needs a debuff carry because she gives a decent amount of buffs, like 72% crit damage to skill, 10% res, well, that's okay. Huge attack percent buffs. She really does need an additional, she really does need debuff carry to enhance that damage even more, because there's only so much of that you can give yourself, and so many of our DPS now already give themselves a lot of damage percentage, they give themselves a lot of attack, they give themselves a lot of crit damage already in certain situations. So this, while it is good, yes, there's already so many different sources of that in the game. Do want to add in some of those other parts of the damage formula there to make sure you're maximizing your damage. You don't want to be overcapping certain parts of the damage formula, right? Next, wants action, advance, and build faster charges. That means she wants someone like Sunday on the team. She wants someone like Sparkle on the team, right? They can action advance your characters to make them go faster, to make them use their skills faster, which inherently charges her charges faster, so they can get to that double skill that much quicker. Okay. So you want that on the team. And then 99% of the teams, guys, she's the 3rd to 4th best in slot. Like, if you're not running her on Finon, you're not running her on Naxa, I can think of so many different options to run that are going to be better than her. Let's hop into the final pros and cons here for overall gameplay, right? First of all, 2-time skill use. Great, cool. You can use skill twice, 1 for free, no SP usage. CC Dispel. Okay, not bad, not bad. Attacks from buffed allies give energy. So if your buffed allies doing an attack, you're giving Cerydra energy back. Cool. She can use her ult more often. Huge attack buff and speed up 90% of the time. Basically 100%. It can kind of depend, but you basically can have this all the time, right? On to the cons, though. Number 1, guys, action advance is better most of the time. Think about it. You're advancing them back to the front. They're using their skill again. Basically 2x skill there. We're going to touch more on that in a second here, though, I swear to God. 6 charges to get the 2x skill. That means you're having, as you see right here, guys, multiple turns to even get this 2x skill. You're having to use skill attack, you're having to use their ultimate moves, which can only, I think, proc once per battle, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, you can get 1 charge to the military merit after your ally uses the ultimate, and this can happen once per battle. That is fucking stupid and retarded, okay? Sorry. Super SP negative. She has no way of getting SP back unless you have a signature light cone. So you're basically burning through skills every single time you're using it. Honestly, worse than fucking Bronny here. And she's a fucking SP soul-sucking succubus. Next up, guys, CC is not prevented. That means if you, for some reason, get your military merit upgraded on, let's say, Cerydra's turn, right? You use a skill in your ally, right? They get 6 points. Gonna proc that CC cleanse like that, right there. What happens whenever you get CC'd in between the time you got that proc off and they get their turn back? They're fucking CC'd, buddy. So it's fucking cooked there, and then you're gonna end up overcapping. So, cringe, in my opinion. And then finally, crit damage and res pin is only active for basically 1 attack. Okay, you can maybe expand that res pin out for multiple attacks. This crit damage is essentially active for 2 attacks. If you're an Axa, only situation, 4 attacks, you get that crit damage over, right? So overall here, guys, let's get into my gripes with this shit, right? The reason I say action advance is better probably 90 to 99% of the time, think of how much SP you're using with Cerydra, and you're not getting any SP back. You're having to use SP with Cerydra, you're not even advancing them forward, so you have to wait for them to come back in the actual run anyways. There's 20 fucking speed you're giving them. Cool, yeah, fucking great. But if you think about an action advanced character, even Bronya, which I am a generational Bronya hater because she is a fucking soul... Let me not do that. She is an SP soul-sucking whore. But I think I have found the new queen of SP soul-sucking whore. I think I have found my new target of who the fuck on the tier list every time I do one. Guys, you're talking Bronya can at least have a 50% chance of respawning a skill point back, which is RNG. RNG. We're saying that someone from the standard banner, which is one of my fucking ops, has a better chance of doing that. Not only this, guys. Look at the buff that she's giving out. She's giving a buff, crit damage buff, to 1 attack for 1 to 2 times. No damage percentage. Hey, your attack percentage is nice. No action advance. The crit damage buff there is not the best thing in the world. Like, sure, 76% crit damage is great, and double skill usage is great, but you get the same effect with an action of answer. You may be giving your ally maybe 30% more crit damage from what Sunday is able to do, and Sunday is able to provide energy, SP generation, action advance. This character makes no fucking sense. The only character this makes sense for is literally fucking Phynon, really. And the amount of cost you need to make this character even comparable, like, you're talking, you probably need at least an E1 and an S1 investment. Not saying it's absolutely necessary, but, like, if you want to be comparable, hell, go look at most people's guides that they posted whenever, like, this video got recorded the day, like, you know, the pre-release stuff came out, but regardless of that, guys, look at anyone's guide. Look how fucking shit it's... You're talking, you have her on her best in slot team with... I'm going off a Brack's video right now, right? You have her in her best in slot team. You have a, what, a 4, 5, 6 cost team. And you're running all premium DPS, like top of the fucking top of the support category. So you're using all these characters up for one team. With one of the best DPS in the game. One step below casters, in my opinion. And you can't even zero cycle with that? You're out of your fucking mind. You are out of your fucking mind, okay? Like, the buff she's giving is, like, an attack buff most of the time. Fucking Hanya gives that! Do not pull for this character. I think this character is an absolute must-skip. I think this is the Argenti of the support class, the Argenti of the Harmony class. This has to be the worst thing they have ever fucking released. Genuinely, guys. Generational hater. Maybe there's some bias involved here. I don't think there is. This kit looks absolutely fucking abysmal. She is the most niche piece of shit in the game. Do not fucking pull for this character, guys. If she is your waifu, then fuck it. Do what you want, I guess. But if you're looking at in terms of, like, what provides value to your account, what value does this character really provide to your account? Hell, I would even dare say, take Bronya's bitch ass off the standard banner, put her on the fucking, this banner, and put Cerydra on the standard banner, because it is fucking ridiculous. I think Bronya, fuck me, generational Bronya hater, is better than this bitch right here. Skipper. Fucking skipper. That's gonna do it, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. My crash out's done here. If you want to see a video on Cerydra versus Silverwolf, hit that subscribe button, gamers. It'll be coming out in a couple days from now. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you want to see a video on Cerydra versus Bronya, because you know I'm a generational Bronya hater, surely you want to see a video on that. And hell, it might even make me make a fucking Bronya build guide. Leave a like on the video, guys. If we get over, I don't know, 100 likes, we will make that video. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Later, bye.